So this is from Bristol with Love's guide to the European elections.
Wah, wah, wah. The European elections, I've done our usual super high level of research on all of this.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, let's take a little stroll through the ballot paper, starting with AAA taxis. If you look into any... I don't know whether you're old enough to remember the Yellow Pages.
I do remember the Yellow Pages.
But in order to make your company memorable, people used to do various tricks to make it appear first in the Yellow Pages. And so that's where you get all these names like Abacabs and AAA taxis. Well, lo and behold, someone's done that on the ballot paper as well. And independence from Europe. They added the "and" just so they'd be first on the ballot paper.
I know, it's great.
We've got their details, and 4 of the 6 of their candidates come from Exeter. So I don't know what makes Exeter an independent...
Well, I think it was a branch of UKIP that just went, oh, actually, no, we're not doing it anymore.
Splitters.
Yeah, they're basically they're UKIP, but ones who left.
Yeah.
So if you like UKIP, but you think, oh, I want someone who's not fully UKIP.
Yeah, and lives in Exeter.
It's basically the same. It's a bit different, but it's basically the same.
Yeah.
The only entertaining thing I could really find about them, because obviously they've all led very boring lives,
right,
is their election video, which is amazing. Have you watched it?
I haven't, no.
I sent it up, but basically it starts off with this giant octopus over Parliament.
Right.
And it's like War of the Worlds music.
Oh, God.
And it's all frames like they came but nobody knew, and like
no one could have imagined.
yeah, and it's like the octopus has got the European stars on its head, like,
right, yeah.
and there's this long video like that about how it's coming in, taking over. Then halfway through the video, this woman just pops up and goes, oh, what was all that about?
I was hoping you'd tell me.
Yeah, and then they explain their policies, but it's like watching 2 completely different, it's like they've chopped 2 people together. It's
bloody octopuses taking our jobs.
Well worth an interesting view, but I'm not going to vote for them.
Okay, next is the British National Party. Next!
Oh!
Just to show how much the British National Party respect the good old Southwest that we love so much. 3 of the candidates are from the north: Eccles, Wigan and Stockport. Okay, you couldn't find 6 people to stand for the British National Party in the whole of the Southwest. And Gibraltar, because that was the other thing, wasn't it? Is Gibraltar is part of the southwest of England, supposedly.
Not in my eyes. Never.
I wonder what the BNP think of Barbary apes. Get them out of there. Bloody Barbary apes taking our Barbary jobs. So, that's the British National Party. Talking of old hat, completely useless. Who's this? It's the Conservative Party.
Hey!
Our old friends. Ashley Peter Fox, he's one of the sitting ones, I think, at the moment. Lives in Bristol, at least, so that's something.
That's something, I guess. James Cracknell is standing for them.
Oh, yeah.
James Cracknell is, we think he's an Olympian originally.
Yeah, he's a very famous rower.
Yeah, all I know him for is going on a boat with Ben Fogle.
Another big friend of the show from past, Ben Fogle. I got spiked with acid.
And he went on a boat with Ben Fogle, and they went on a boat somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't really remember the ins and outs of it. It was a TV show. They had a row. They cried at the end. They played elbow. I don't really remember much about the show, but that was it. So yeah, James Cracknell, celebrity nobody, is standing. So
one other thing with Cracknell is he was in the paper, and he was down somewhere like Kingswood, I think it was, and at the opening of a bank or a food bank or something, and he was like, oh yeah, well, I'm here. I don't really want to be here, but this is what you got to do to be a candidate, innit? And it's like, I think you got to work a little bit harder than that. You got to smile at the same time, I think, if you're going to get elected.
You've got to at least pretend you're listening to people, mate. So next up, the English Democrats. Now, if you look at some of their policies on paper, you think, federalised system, more democracy, that sort of makes sense, Did you look into it? They're proper crackers, aren't they?
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I always thought they were a bit more liberal sort of patriots, but...
A big friend of the show is a big friend of the English Democrats, and maybe that's where we got our opinion from, wasn't
it? Yeah, their election video, have you seen that?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Right, listeners, pause the show, go and watch their election video. English Democrats election video. It's absolutely amazing. It's 4 minutes of them just holding up signs saying, pull out of Europe.
Oh, right.
Stop immigration. And there's a song playing in the background, which is like a sort of Cockney sounding guy singing like, oh, St. George, he's English, we're all English, da, da, da. And then just these panning shots of different things that are supposed to be English. A lot of pubs called the George and Dragon. And
what about the Fox and Hounds? Is
it's
that
terrible. It's like one of their like sons or daughters or something is doing A-level media studies, and they've gone, here, this will be good for your course. When it do the video for us, we can get it on the cheap then. Terrible video. Next.
Well, it's the Greens. First thing up, we have a confession to make. We both quite like the Green policies, don't we?
We like the policies that some of the policies that they are putting forward.
They've got policies like renationalise the railways, open up new railway routes in the southwest, switch to low-intensity farming, keeping lobbyists out of politics, keeping chemicals and growth hormones out of food. That all sounds great. In Brighton, they got into power, and they were looking for ways to sort of tax the rich more, and they were going to make rich people pay more council tax, which again, I'm in favour of, and poor pay less. But they didn't get any of it through, because the thing is, they haven't got big load of support. They haven't got a constituency, as they used to call it. You know, like the Greens, they're just like a middle class protest party. Even the Stroud Green Party, which loads of this lot, like the MEPs, prospective MEPs, come from Stroud. They launched their campaign with a flash mob, and that's like, that's not what I want from a political party. You know, like
I mean, I don't really want anything, but I don't want that.
Next,
it's the Labour Party.
Who are ya? Who are ya?
What? Do you know what are you doing, Labour? I met a few Labour candidates recently.
All right.
As you know, I'm a bit of a political socialite, and I was walking down the street and I seen some and just started chatting to them, like,
yeah,
as you do. But what are they? What is the point of them, like?
I don't know. I was hoping you could tell me.
Yeah, One Nation. What's he on about?
Well, they're talking about like sort of scrapping estate agent fees and things like that. Tories are never going to do that.
Yeah, but Labour aren't going to do it. Like, you know,
no, that's true.
You know, they're not. They'll get into power and go, oh well, we didn't realise that. La la la. You know, it's not the 60s, is it?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like you're saying, that groundswell of support. Labour haven't got that. Well, it doesn't know what it is. You know, it's trying to play to the new Labour middle class types,
squeeze middle.
And you know, and making out that Ed Miliband is a lefty. And it's like, well, he's not, is he? You know, he's not really. Yeah. They need to sort of either pick to be this sort of liberal centre left party and just go balls deep into that, like, or go proper left and get people on board. Like, you know, people are crying out for it in this country. I personally don't think that's the solution to anything, but. You know, if I was in the Labour Party, I would be calling for that, because it's an easy win, and they're just falling flat on their face, like.
Bang.
Next.
Talking of falling flat on your face and being completely irrelevant, who's this? It's the Liberal Democrats.
Jesus, what is that? Like, you know,
do they even exist anymore?
I mean, we're talking about the Labour Party, like, but Lib Dems, it's like, what are you?
Yeah.
What the hell are you, like?
They're like the little boil in how to get ahead in advertising. You know, there's nothing there.
Next.
Leads us on to the current favourites. Well, look at these lot. Well, it's new politics. We've been talking about all of these broken parties. What's this? It's a flash new gang about town. The UK Independence Party, UKIP to its friends and foes. Who's this? Their number one candidate. Their number one top boy, probably going to get in. Man of the people, William the 10th Earl of Dartmouth. Okay, and he's already one of the MEPs, has been a Tory MEP. Nigel Farage has been an MP or MEP for 15 years. He's also an ex-merchant banker. No, they are man of the people, yeah.
They are
the
proper man of the people.
People's Party.
Yeah,
People's Party.
Yeah. What they do is they represent the views of the working classes of this country.
That's right.
The thing is with UKIP is you've got to look at it realistically. People are hyped up that it's this, you know, fresh, new politics. There's something new about it. They're not. They're all they're all ex-Tories. It's not like this swell of people have come from nowhere.
Yeah.
They're people who were Tories, decided the Tories weren't right-wing enough, and created UKIP.
Yeah.
A vote for UKIP is a vote for the Tories' mean son.
Normally, UKIP would be just like, go on then, like, you are what you are, I am what I am, basically. Like, if you want to vote UKIP, fine. But if you think that UKIP isn't a racist party, then, you've gone wrong somewhere. Because people are saying that a lot of Labour voters are voting for change. And it's like, I know Labour's changed, but you've obviously changed a little bit as well if you think that UKIP's the answer.
But also, we both... And everybody out there who's listening, everybody I speak to in the pub, people I speak to, where everybody wants change. Everybody, whether it's massive social change like me and you want, or if it's just something different, something, to feel like there's some hope politically that we can have,
connections as well, innit? The whole political class is completely disconnected from the real people now.
So we all want some form of change, and UKIP to some people looks like you could have something different, but like I said, they're just Tories. They're not, they're not going to bring in some swooping change. They're not going to bring in all these changes on immigration that you want, or they're not even going to leave Europe. You think how long they've been in Europe for anyway? They go, they collect their pay packets. You go online, you can find ream after ream of their expenses where they've been robbing us taxpayers, like, under the guise of like, oh yeah, we're freeing people from Europe. Well, you don't have to go and stay in a 5-star hotel to do it. Like, if you're true to your conviction, you don't need to be paid for it, do you? Like,
that's it. That's exactly it.
But
I think
me and Dick have had our debates on Europe before, like, and he's very pro-Europe, and I'm sort of anti-Europe in a sense, like, The reality of it all is that a lot of people want to pull out of Europe because of all sorts of reasons: immigration,
climate change,
change, funds that we have to pump into Europe,
human rights.
But like, why? To me, I don't understand why is it different if we're ruled by a political class in Westminster that are British? How is that different from being ruled by a political class in Brussels that's a mixture of different nations? Where the problem is we're still being ruled by a political class of people, like, it's like you said. You look at you've got earls and toffs being voted in all over. Like, if you think
Nigel Farage, listen to him, for Christ's sake. Just because he has a pint and a fag doesn't make him working class. He's as upper class as it gets. I think the thing is the whole like migration debate. The big thing, you look down that list that it shows to me, right, is you've got your middle class protest party in the Greens. You've got the Labour that used to be left wing, working class party, isn't anymore. They're all about the squeezed middle. Every other single one on that, all the other 4 or 5, are all right wing parties that are obsessed in one way or another with immigration or migration. And but people are still saying, oh, it's like you can't talk about immigration, like UKIP are still campaigning on saying, oh, like for too long we've hidden this debate. Well, how can you say the debate's hidden when over half of the candidates that are standing are obsessed with migration?
I think from my view, I think we talk about migration too much. Like,
I tell you what we don't talk about, and this shows it. We don't talk about class. We don't talk about the fact that there's a massive percentage of people at the bottom that are getting royally screwed over. None of those parties there have anything to say about class.
And that's one thing that's a constant. Do you know what I mean? That's something that whatever happens in this country, you can have migration, and that can be migration of working class people from Europe, and you can have migration of upper class people from Europe. Like,
I think that the thing you got to remember, you either think one way or the other. If you think that England is a thing in itself, that people are English are different to other people, and that we've got some historical right to the resources in this country, fine, you're going to vote UKIP probably, or one of the other pay limitations. If you think like me that the phrase the working class is international actually means something. It's not just a political slogan. What it means is the poor in every country in the world are treated the same. And it doesn't matter where they're from. It's the same situation. And what we need to do to get across from that is to sort the situation out. Not blame the people that have to move to get a job. I've moved from Wiltshire to Bristol to get a job.
Scum!
Basically, yeah. You know, like, sort of, it's exactly the same thing. It was 20 years ago, but how do I fit in that? You know, like, it's all rubbish in my eyes. It's basically, in order to sort the situation out, you need to sort the situation out. You don't need to keep people out of your area or whatever. You need to sort the situation out. There's enough money for everybody. That's the guilty secret.
Bang! There you go. In-depth view into our views on Europe. The best political analysis on voting in Europe you're going to hear on Mixcloud this week.
From Bristolians. Even though I'm a Wiltshireman, obviously I can't call myself Bristolian.